afternoon, Laughlin 4-Hers. Mr. Will here again. I've got a table right here in my garage set up with all that we'll need to build the garden bed. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the tools as well as the material that we're going to need to build the bed. Okay. Each one of the things that we have here, you're going to need it. Whether you're building a bed at your home, or I'm building a bed here, or we're building a bed together, these are the same tools that we're going to need, okay? So first is a power drill, all right? It's very simply a battery pack hooked onto my power drill. I've got it charged up. It's ready to go. Some of you have used these drills before. You are going to get to use this drill when we build the beds together, once we come back together for 4-H gardening. But the drill is very simple. Most of you know how it works, but the idea is we're going to have to put screws into the bed, and you're going to need something to screw the bed up with, and so that's where the power drill comes in handy, okay? So that's the power drill. Then we also have a square. Now, it's not called a triangle. I have heard people call it that, although it is shaped in a triangle. It's not called a triangle, it's called a square, because a square does what its name implies. You want things to be square when you put them together. So anything that you're building that has angles to it, where you want it to be a 90-degree angle, right, just like this, you're going to need a square, because the square helps keep those angles, those corners, at a 90-degree. So you're going to see when we build the bed how handy this particular tool is. All right? Then we have a clamp. The clamp is also pretty simple. You just click this lever right here and it slides that part of the clamp backward and forward. But when you actually want to hold something tight, so in our case, if you want to screw two pieces of wood together and you want those two pieces of wood to stay together while you're using the drill to screw the boards together, what you would do is you would put the clamp on the outside of both of the boards, move the lever all the way forward until it's tight. And then the clamp will do, again, just as its name implies, it will clamp the two pieces of wood together and hold them tight so that then you can come back and you can screw them up. All right. Then we have a hammer. Now the hammer, you can do a lot of things with the hammer, but in our case, we're going to use it to maybe knock a board together. Sometimes I won't use the hammer, but sometimes I'll need it, so I have it out just in case. But when we're putting the bed together, you may need to slide a piece of wood just slightly closer, further up or down, depending on how you want it, just to make it more square or to make it a little more able to be screwed up tight. So you'll use the hammer for that. You'll also use a hammer out when we're installing the bed. So we may need to pop the bed into place a little bit more into the spot where we're going to actually install it. So that's where the hammer comes in. So we'll need this less than we'll need the clamp and the square as well as the drill. But we have a tape measure. All right, so the tape measure is going to be very similar to the hammer in the sense that we're not going to use this very much. But when we install, because as you can see, my boards are already cut. Normally, if you were cutting a longer board, you would need it to be a certain size, then you would use the tape measure. Okay, in our case, what we're going to use it for is when we install the bed, I want it set up a certain distance from my other beds. And so I leave enough space where you can walk around the bed. Okay? It's a tape measure. Then we have what is called a level. All right? The level, again, is going to be a tool used for installation mostly, though I will use it maybe a little bit here and there for putting the bed together. But in general, a level does what its name implies. If the bed is crooked when you install it, the level will tell you. So if I have something that's even, if this is even, then it's maybe a little hard to see, but there's a bubble inside this liquid that will actually be in the middle. So that tells me that it's level. If I tilt it, see how the bubble goes either to the left or to the right. So this level is extremely handy when you want to make sure that you have something that you're building that's not uneven. Then of course we have a shovel and a rake. You'll see when we get outside, once the bed is built and I install the bed, that we're going to need the shovel and rake for that installation. All right, then that brings us finally to the lumber. Now the lumber has, as I already said, the lumber has been pre-cut. I have right here are the legs. So these will go at each of the four corners. They are about 16 inches long each. About 5 inches of the leg is going to be what we put into the ground. All right, so those are the 4 legs. These are 4x4s. Then we have 2x6s. These are the side pieces. There'll be 2 per side. And then these are the end pieces. Again, 2 per side. All right, these are 3 feet. These are 6 feet. All of this, the 4x4s and the 2x6s, are all redwood, untreated redwood lumber. At some point, I'm going to do a video on actually going to the hardware store and getting the lumber and having them cut it there. I don't cut it here at the house. I have them cut it, so all this comes ready to go, ready to be assembled. And so in the next video, what we're going to do next week, so tune in next week, we're going to actually build the bed, okay? We have our lumber, we have our screws. These are 2.5-inch deck screws. We have our tools, and so we're going to put the bed together, all right? That'll be next week. Tune in next week. Again, stay safe. Glad you guys tuned in this week. Hope you're doing well. I miss you. Looking forward to seeing you again, but until then, keep on 4-H'ing.